Welcome to part 8 of the Serpens introductory series. In this video, we're going to be covering the add-on preferences, along with an enum operator and add-on preferences custom operators that you can use to set other things in your scene. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so in our Pomodoro project tracker file, I've set up another workspace and I've just split it in half. And on the left-hand side, I've got it set to be the preferences. And on the right-hand side, I've got it set up to be the main Serpens graph, and we're on the add-on preferences graph. So inside the add-on preferences node, you have a plus icon, and this is where you add in properties that are specific just for the add-on preferences. Go ahead and click the plus icon, and we're going to call this one menu. And you can set the type of data that the menu property is going to hold by clicking on the pencil icon, and then on the drop down, we're going to choose an enum. And an enum is basically a list of selectable items that are strings. And so you can click on add enum item, and you can continue adding more and more. Now we're going to do 3. So this one's going to be for the Pomodoro. You can give it a description if you want. I'm just going to blank it out. We'll do one for the project tracker. And we'll do one for support. Because we're going to have 3 different menu items to select. All right, now that we've got that set up, you can click away, and then you can get yourself an interface node. Click on that arrow, and then drag on over and connect it in. And if you compile now, you'll notice that you have menu and then Pomodoro, project tracker, and support. Now I don't necessarily need this label, and I also don't want this to be a drop-down. Instead, I want it to be an expanded series of selections. So I can click on the expand here, and now when I compile, we've got ourselves 3 expanded items. Now, I don't want them expanded in columns, I want them to be expanded in rows. And let's see, we lost our labels here. Let's put menu back and then do Shift A, add in a row on the interface. Bring that over. There we go. That's exactly how we want it. So let's see what happens if we clear out the menu. Does that clear out all the labels? It does, okay. So we just need something labeled in there. That's fine. All right, so now we got 3 menu selections for our enum. And now we want something to happen based on whether we select these or not. So since this is the first column on our preferences interface, what we can do is in the top right on the Serpens editor, you can click this gear icon and do the show insert sockets, and you could add in and insert a socket above. So I have our changelog interface be at the very bottom, and this is going to be at our very top. And we can have an if-else interface set up for our first enum item. So we can go ahead and grab a getter, and it's going to give you the current selection of whatever the enum is. So I want to compare that selection, and we can just compare it to the actual names that are in the enum. So if I'm Pomodoro, Shift A, and then under logic, go grab our compare. We're going to add in a string. So under Shift A input, and then we're going to grab our string node and just paste in that selection name. And we'll just add in a quick label. And then hit compile. So when we select the Pomodoro, our label shows up. So now all you have to do is duplicate this 3 different times. In the add-on preferences properties, we can't put these into an interface function because they have to be tied directly to the Addon Preferences node. So the node might get a little bit bigger than most, but that's okay, because we're going to have everything tied into these if-else statements. So instead of Pomodoro, this time we're going to have it reference the project tracker. Duplicate and go down, and we'll do the same thing. I like to come in and copy whatever my enum item is. That way I don't have any typos. Makes for easy play testing. All right, so now we'll compile. We've got the Pomodoro, the project tracker, and the support. Okay, so our enum is now working, and we've got menu items that are showing up based upon whatever we have selected. So in the Pomodoro, what would be nice is if we give our user the ability to set the work time, the break time for their Pomodoro, and figure out whatever time they want to set. And so we can do that by giving them access to a couple more properties in the Addon Preferences. So we can actually just copy this and make a new property, paste in the name, do it again, and we'll just change that data type to be the same data type. And actually, we'll just follow suit with this. So default value, minimum 1, soft maximum of 1440. On the next one. And this one we've got a default value of 3. Set our softmax. And while we're at it, we can grab in the total time and the session time and the previous session time. We'll just make 3 more properties here. We'll edit these. Set it be an integer. Should be good to go now. Okay, so we've got a bunch of properties, and we can grab the interfaces for these properties. We'll just store them inside of these if-elses. So let's go ahead and grab the first one. So Pomodoro work time. We can actually just grab all these on the interface. And now that we've got properties in here, since these are tied to the add-on preferences, we don't need the scene like we had in our other graphs because the context is in the add-on preferences. We'll just say on here, customize your Pomodoro. And then these should show up right below. We'll do the same thing for our project tracker. We'll give ourselves just a little more space. In this case, I don't necessarily want to be able to type in the times. I want to be able to use a button to reset these times. So I know I grabbed the interfaces, but we're going to change over just to grab the setters. All right. And in here, we'll just give ourselves an option for the user to be able to reset their project tracker. And we'll just do an operator. We just set these all down to 0. Add ourselves in a button. Copy the label over and grab our resetter. Now we've got all these items. Let's go ahead and compile just to see what it looks like. Very nice. So on our support page, what we can do is we can give a link to the Blender Market or Gumroad or to the Serpens Discord. So there's an easy way to copy the properties for this because Serpens already has one built in. So you can open a website to get into Discord. You just right click on this and copy this operator and then just do a button. Paste that operator. We already have a URL we can use. So instead of using this URL, what I can do is I can use the Blender Market URL. And we can do another one. We can do the Discord URL. File again. And on support, we've got options to be able to open those up directly. Let's try that again. There we go. Need the eye icon turned on. Now we can set the Pomo break time and work time, but it hasn't actually set anything else. Instead, what we need to do is we need to make use of the property updates to set our scene properties. So currently we are going to need to add in a scene context node, so Shift A, and under input we have a scene context. We'll add in a portal as well. Hit F2, and I just like to give these a quick name. And then we'll set our property updates a little bit farther down. And let's do update for this one. We're going to do all the property updates. Okay, and then we just need to grab in all of our variables or our properties over here on the end panel. So grab in the work time. Set the break time. Total time, our session time, and our previous session time. Make sure you plug in all your scene nodes. I'm just going to scale these in the Y direction. Another little more in line. So now when we compile, when I'm setting the POMO break time and the POMO work time, we'll actually go to, let's set this to be 10. And set this one to be 27. We have our timer that's already here, so if we click on the edit preferences, we can reset the project tracker. And that's been reset. So we do need to see, we have 5 set here for our timer. Let's see. The timers are getting reset over here. We do need to reset the Pomodoro. So probably ought to do a refresh view along with these. So Shift A, under program, we have a refresh view. All right. So clicking on my edit preferences, and we've got Pomodoro here. Let's set the break time to be 20 minutes and the work time to be 60. That doesn't seem to be, looks like the work time still isn't setting though. Ah, I see what I did. Got my nodes mixed up. There we go. Let's try that again. And we'll swap these two because I want to do the work time instead of the break time. Let's see, I just did that. Let's try that again. There we go. All right, so we got our work time. Let's set it to 18 minutes and break time for 5. You should see now. There we go. Now we got a good update. And our timer has been reset on our project tracker. We'll just verify that everything else is kosher on the break. It's good. Sweet. So at this point, we've got ourselves a nice handy add-on preferences and the menu that changes based upon which enum you select. What's nice about this is you still have your changelog version available at the bottom, so it's always viewable. Now you can go ahead and go crazy with this and make as much as you want inside of your properties. Just make sure if you do, I have noticed sometimes if you change the add-on name, you may have to update the properties. I think they've fixed it so that when you update anything inside of these properties, that the nodes will update themselves. but make sure you're happy with your add-on name before you add in the add-on preferences and the properties. In the next video, I'm going to be covering uploading your add-on to both the Serpens marketplace and to Gumroad and Blender Market. So you can release your add-on, and if you decide you want to sell it, I'll walk you through that process so you can get it there and uploaded. And what I've done is I've created a much more beefy version of the Pomodoro add-on, and I've got it ready to be able to market. And so I'm going to take you on the journey with me as I go through the process of adding it to both Gumroad and Blender Market. And then we'll add in a link, the Serpens marketplace, so that you can access the Gumroad Blender Market page from there. And then I'll put the blend file on the add-on itself, and when you buy the add-on, what you'll be able to do is access the beefy version of the Pomodoro. And it's got some slick features like autosave. It's got the ability to save a copy of a file, so it would be a single copy that doesn't overwrite your original file. Every time you complete a Pomodoro, it will do that. And it's also got a dated copy save, so it will save a dated copy every time your Pomodoro completes. It's also got an auto run feature, and you can decide whether or not to turn on or off the notification settings, and whether you want the Pomodoro to stop when you're notified until you click the start button or the pop-up itself. So if that's something that interests you, or if you want to give back and say thank you, I'd really appreciate supporting me. These video series took quite a bit of effort, but we'll catch you on the next one, and I'll walk you through the setup of how to get this all into the marketplace. We'll see you in the next one.